Happy Thursday, everybody. I was just listening to some Foo Fighters in the car on the way home. Some acoustic when they were on the Howard Stern show. Such great music. Dave Grohl is so talented. You're all talented. I can put people in timeouts now, it's saying. Got it. All right. I'm supposed to give the standard content creator line. You need to smash that like and subscribe. But if you could please subscribe. And I'm flat out honest with everybody. That's kind of my personality. And I've wondered, like, when I first started watching content creators, I was like, I had no idea that they were making money off this. And I always would ask, like, why are they, why do they need the numbers up so much? It's naive. It's a while ago. But it's all about the numbers. You could see, if you're watching this right now, I'm at 668. Maybe you're watching this years from now, and we've exceeded that. But to get paid, which I'm not going to make a living doing this, but to qualify, you need 1,000 subscribers. So I'm just being honest with you that the more I get, it gives me a chance to get paid. And I've said this before, when I do qualify, I will do cash prizes. Depends how big it is. Like if I'm making $100 a month, I'll give away $10. Why not? I can do that, right? Gift cards or $10 cash, or maybe I'll give you plays. Like I'll put you in a $10 GPP. Maybe you don't want to enter a contest. I'll enter it for you. I'll take some money though. All right, week 4. If you want to go to week 3, I guess I could put a good content creator would put. I'll put the week 3 lineup review in the description somewhere. It's supposed to do that. I don't like to do everything like everyone else, so just go back into my page. You can find it. It's all under Let's Talk DFS. Let's do that. All right, so I like to preach, my friends, and no, not sure what kind of accent that was, but the more I've done this, Watson's back, by the way. By the way, I don't do any Thursday night games. Traditionally, I usually maybe do a free roll for the showdowns. I'm not good at showdowns. If you have any advice on showdowns, please tell me. I might do like a dime buy-in and throw some home runs. I don't know. I don't really love it. I feel like it's kind of a sucker bet. Like I've maxed out 150 lineups at a nickel, and I've actually won a few times on FanDuel. Because FanDuel, it doesn't cost any different in showdowns, but I maxed out, and I think I won like $40-50. I don't know. I don't love it. But let's get to like my philosophy. A lot of this is I've learned from some really good players in DFS. All right, your cash games, those are 50-50s, head-to-heads, triple ups, quintuple ups, I can never say it, 3-man leagues, 5-man leagues. I would say contests that are, well, the 3-man league is one winner. That's 33%. But you want to stick to 40% and higher your chances to win. Now, it's 40 to 50. You can't go higher than 50%. Those are your 50-50s. They don't have a contest where 60% win. So in cash games, you don't have to finish first. I still want to finish first in those. And you see with the score, I times 3 of them. I go for 150 points, and the scores have been pretty high. Weeks 1 and last week, the scores were insane. So bear that in mind. I use 3. 3 times the salary. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. Like if you think Hurts is going to get you 20 and maybe someone else is going to get you, a 3,500 running back's going to get you 20, that's 6 times. You can do that. But you shouldn't just play guys you like. If Justin 9,600, that might be tough to get 3 times. Right? His thing is going up more. He needs 29 points this week for you. He could easily do. I mean, he's averaging 28.9. It's funny where the price is. And he could easily do that, and he could have a better game. But look at those freaking numbers. I mean, it's unbelievable. I'm not sure I'm going to go to him in cash games because I like that. All right? And don't worry about this is one to follow too. Don't fall into the 14-point favorite thing. If they're 14-point favorites, they could be up 31-17 at half, and he could score 2 of the 3 of the touchdowns. So, what I like to do when building, and this is what I've learned, because there's correlation with home running backs that are favorites. So I like to start there, and I try to build off that. Because you don't want to get this wrong, because these guys have the most opportunities. Quarterbacks do too, because they throw the ball 30 to 40 times. But, in terms of the rest of your other skilled position players, you got to get these right. So I would try to do that. And I think there's a lot of guys to like at home that are cheap. That's not a bad way to start. That's not a bad way to start. It's 6,000 getting all of the work. 22 opportunities in the first week. I'm going to go, I add the targets, even though he didn't catch. So I'll go 33 opportunities. He succeeded in 32. This is really good production for 6,000. He only went up 500. Rams, pretty good defense, right? But he's a favorite at home in the only game in town. Right? He's the only game. So, I like Moss, but you really should do that and that's my model. You can listen, I don't have a problem if you feel strongly about some road games, but road games are wonky. They really are. This is not a bad play because that's a bad defense, but I think it's more of a GPP play. Because I think, when you're looking at GPPs, you do want to get different. And you want about 4 to 5 times the salary. That's what you got to keep in mind. So maybe McCaffrey's not a good GPP play. Looking for 36, 38 points. That's what So for me, I think that, and I start there, and then if I don't love everything there, then I might go to some road favorites. Again, I advise all of you to keep a sheet like I do. Why did that go off? Put in my Vegas lines. These are what they are currently. I have my home favorites. I have games to target. These should be bold, shouldn't they? And work from there. I mean, and again, I've said this in other videos. Manipulate these lines. But I like to use Vegas lines. But if you think that something could be a little more, I said this earlier this week. I think this game's going to be under because I like Buffalo's defense. I don't necessarily think division game. They know each other. I would take the under in this game. And in GPPs, and some, if you're doing more than a few tournament lineups, it's not bad to take this game off your board. Maybe, this is going to be a popular game. But it's nuts. Like, this is a lot of points for 2 really good defenses. Maybe this game goes, then it's 48. I've said this on many videos. If you had the the final score is given to you, it would completely change your lineup, right? Like if you could look into the future, not see what the guys did, but you knew the scores, it would change. You can do that yourself. You can change some of these lines. So I'm big on, and I know I've repeated a lot of this in other videos, but I want to hit home because I have people coming in and out in different videos. What the biggest thing I've done this year is I've made some plays that I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm making, but I believe in it. And I didn't see them in other places or people talk about them, but I believed in it. And that's what you have to do when you play DFS. All right? Because as many experts, is me telling you what guys to play, you could be wrong almost every time. If you find guys, is this the first week? Last 30 days, wow. Why does it not have more? Oh. I wanted to go to my... Yeah, this is week 1. Cash game lineup. And I plugged in Trevor, some of these guys I was like, boy, I put Mims in there at 3,000. I put Likely in at 3,000. But I really wanted to fit Eckler at home. I wanted the other side of that game. I had no doubts that Tyreek Hill would be good in that game against that defense. And then I had Walker at home. It didn't work out. I had Madison at home. It didn't work out. I mean, this is not a great lineup, but 2 guys really saved it. But I played these guys with conviction. They told the story. I liked Seattle at home. I liked Minnesota at home. I figured this game was going to be a blowout. I had to have each side of that game. 5,500 for Samuel, I figured that's a bargain. He scored 30 points. He didn't score. So have conviction, but I do think you have to find what works for you. And what works for me is building my running backs, cash games. I go with 3. I like the home favorites. If I don't like someone, then I pivot. But there's a lot of guys to like at home. Miles Sanders, 58. Pretty good production. I don't know if I'm ready to play him in a cash game. Miles Sanders. What about this guy? 18 opportunities last week, 31 in week 2. 14-point favorites at home, 5,700. What does he need? 5,700 if I go... And I do this a lot. Now, you guys might be saying, well, you can't expect everyone to have exactly, oh my God, 3 times the value of their salary, right? No, yeah. The expensive guys could go 2.5 and then someone goes 5 to equal it out. But I still like to see if it's realistic. Is 17 points realistic? He's averaging 16, but that's a big part of that first game. I don't know if he's the week 2 guy. He might be in the middle somewhere of this. So could he get me 20 points? Yeah, 14-point favorite. Maybe if it was on the road, closer game, I'd say no. But if you're going to give the Eagles a 14-point spread, now a lot of things can happen in this. They could get up and then all the other guys, we've seen this in Philly, touch the ball. That's very much possible, but I'll take my chances. And this could be what I do this weekend for my 3 running backs. All in good spots, all at home, all favorites, all big favorites. Certainly know that anything can happen, but I don't feel like that's going to change much. I'm pretty confident these 2 teams are going to win, like 99% of me. This game could be either way, but a close game at home, a running back's not a bad thing either. You want to avoid playing like James Conner in a cash game down, those are for GPPs. Like if you think Washington is going to make this closer. I thought Washington was a 14-point. Maybe they're not. Not that matters. I love Fantasy Labs. Get me some Fantasy Labs. I know there's no. Okay. What is that? Okay, 26-17. So they're a 9-point favorite. So I update this as the week goes. I'll do this later because it's boring to people. So again, like, you should take what you think's going to happen to your DFS. That's why it's pretty good to bet and to look at betting lines, player props. If you see, I think Swift's player prop is pretty high. And there's nothing wrong with going off that. The sports books are pretty good. But I use all of this stuff. I don't need to sign in because I can just show you the prop without. So let's go into some rushing props. I mean, 63.5 at a minus 125. So, I mean, 63, say he gets 64 yards. That's 6.4 with a touchdown. Hey, Leach, how are you, bud? Just saw my shorts. My YouTube shorts. If you bet on what I told you to do on the YouTube and don't win, don't blame me, please. But again, I like to use, these are good guides. They even have total yards, rushing, receiving. And you can go into, there's other sites that give you full projections and yardage, but I like to go on what Vegas thinks. And if you see something like, oh, wow, that's down a lot. I mean, Zach Moss, 88 total yards. 88 total yards and a touchdown. Let's go 90, right? Say this does go over. 90 and touchdown is 15. He gets 3 or 4 catches. That's 22. He smashes at 6,000. So those are things to look at too. But again, you got to stick to something, and also something that I've not done is stay consistent. I've gotten away from this. Last year, I yo-yoed on, I'm going to go way high on my quarterback, and I'm going to stack in cash game. I got too cute at times playing, like a $3,000 receiver that was more like a Marvin Mims, which is like a down the field. You don't want to stay away from those guys that have a lot of air yards. Those are GPP plays. In cash games, you want opportunities. You're buying targets. You're buying attempts. So you want to stay away. Like who? I'm trying to think of like even a better example. Like a Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis is the ultimate, at times. I mean, he's more of a GPP play. Like he's low floor guys you want to stay away from. Like with Denver, Sutton is more of a cash game play because he gets more targets, where Jerry Jeudy and Mims, like look at Mims as the ultimate. Two targets, 100, high ceiling. He's got a high ceiling for 3,900. You get 6-7 times the value out of that. So that's what I would do. Stick to opportunities. I love to pay down a quarterback. I just feel, and on DraftKings, FanDuel's a little different. I just feel like on DraftKings, if you're going to tell me justify playing, and this does work. I mean, I've seen cash game lineups with going up, but what I look at is the difference between 6,500 for Hawkinson and 3,500 is dramatically different. You could get a 0 for Freiermuth. You're probably not going to get a 0 for Hawkinson. Jefferson to 6,600. Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy could get 5-6 points. Jefferson can get 30. Quarterbacks, you go down from 8,200 to 5,200. Bryce Young could get you 15 to 20 points. And Allen could get you 22 to 25. It's not that much difference for 3,000 savings. And I feel on cash games, quarterbacks have pretty good floors, right? Because you're going to know they're going to throw. Like, this is a good cash game play. And you might be like, why in the world would you play a guy that's got that big of an underdog? That's why you play him. The attempts will go up. Garbage. It doesn't matter how you get it. So I love it. I love paying down, and I think it's the way to go. I mean, this is a great cash game play, good GPP play. And you don't need much. You know, you get 12 or 13 points. Is Dalton playing this week? See, he's a guy I liked. Mac Jones, just because there's not a lot of touchdown potential. If Garoppolo does not play, you got Brian Hoyer against the worst passing defense in the world. And Minnesota's right there too. And look what the quarterbacks are ranked. Do I like Bryce Young? Not really. I don't care. You don't have to like him. Do I think Brian Hoyer is a good quarterback? He's a backup. 16-year veteran. What do I care? This is what I care about. This defense can't stop anyone. You plug him in your cash game, you get the other side of that game. And I like to pay down on defense. Cleveland at home. I like home defenses. 4,500 is not a lot to play with for the rest of the three spots, but you can find floor. Maybe this is a week that you pay down at tight end. Keep an eye for injuries here, you know. Higbee is hurt. That opens it up for someone else. And what I've learned, too, if you have tight ends that are hurt, their backups are usually dirt cheap. You know, so if Higbee is not playing, look at. This is like a minimum. Could be somebody in here, $2,500. You know, this is a weird game because sometimes the opportunities really open up if someone's hurt. I mean, and you don't want that, but it helps. There's a lot of people hurt, but I think for me, I've got to have these two guys in my lineup, McCaffrey and Allen. I just think their floor is too high. You know, could you put Jefferson in there as well? I doubt it. See? And that's what paying down, I mean, it makes it hard. So you got to make tough decisions. But listen, if you are not feeling this and you like the home, the theory of the home running back, I'm not sure his situation yet. I don't like to play two guys from the same team in cash games because if the game goes lousy, you have a chance of crapping. This is a great play this week, 6,100, because we know his ceiling. And he's going to be low owned because people just won't play a guy that's been suspended. They'll talk themselves out of it. But, I think that you don't have to go with Allen. I would, but you make the decision between McCaffrey and Jefferson, or you do this. And you find another way, you get another piece of that game. But that's the problem when you play those two guys at 9+. Then you probably have to punt at tight end. Let's just put in just this for now. And you're still looking at 4,600. Outstanding. This isn't horrible. That's not horrible to me at all. Because opportunities, it's against Minnesota, 4,500. Look at his production. So I think that's kind of the way you want to go this week. You want to think about in your cash games, do I want to go a McCaffrey Jefferson or a McCaffrey Keenan Allen? And how do I get, another side of that Minnesota team? They're on the road. Think about that. Think about who you like. FanDuel is completely different. And I'll just do a quick thing. I don't play a lot of cash games on FanDuel anymore, but the difference is it is a half-point PPR, which changes everything because your running backs, for me, you still want the same type of thing. I think you can play. This is not what we want. You can play the same type of strategy with home running backs, but you do need some touchdown upside. That's just the fact. So I think McCaffrey is still, 9,700. But at quarterback, so let's see if we built somewhat the similar lineup that we have. Because all these guys are touchdown guys. And we went with Hoyer. I'm going to go with the Browns. 4,300. We're going to pay way down at tight end. We'll go with one of the Rams backups. Just for now. I mean, it's not set in stone. It's just the minimum guy in case whatchamacallit's hurt. And then we went, now with quarterbacks, the difference is you don't get any bonuses on FanDuel. They don't do the 300-yard bonus. So the quarterback pricing is much different, where the cheapest quarterback, where is Hoyer? Is he all the way down? Is he 6,000? So he's 6,100. But some of the top guys are only about 1,900 difference. You know what I mean? So like now Allen's not. Allen's 3,000 difference. It's similar to the other one. But a Kirk Cousins is only $1,800 more than a Brian Hoyer. Justin Fields. I mean, look at, you go down here. I mean, Dak Prescott being $900 more bucks. But I still think it can work, even on here. But the pricing's a little bit different, a little tighter at times. You guys, I know that you watch this and you'd be like, you really would play Brian Hoyer? Yeah, because I go strictly for matchups, and I watch these games. The Chargers are horrendous. Absolutely. I mean, I watched the second half of the Chargers-Minnesota game. I mean, Minnesota is a disaster. An absolute disaster defensively. And the Chargers are right there too. So an NFL quarterback can throw, I mean, Hoyer can throw for 300 yards and a touchdown. So how could you build the rest of this lineup? Look where Allen is. Look where Jefferson. Allen is more on FanDuel. You plug him in. Could you get Dell in? And that leaves you at 5,100. Is there any value there? Those are the questions. All right, good luck. Let me know if you need anything. And thank you, as always, for watching this